Good evening and welcome to Star City News. I'm Megan Conway.
And I'm Torrin Otis, and here are tonight's top stories.
An inmate has escaped and has been captured. Police have been searching for a couple hours for an escaped work-release inmate. He had jumped out of a state prison vehicle and was on the run.
This is Juan Ramirez, the 33-year-old man who led law enforcement on a several-hour search. Ramirez is serving 10 to 15 years for burglary and 2 counts of having a stolen firearm. The escapee was located on 33rd Street near Russ's Market. Investigators swarmed the area all afternoon in an attempt to locate the criminal, including the use of a police helicopter. Ramirez fled from a van near 27th and Highway 2 at about 1 p.m. It took police nearly 2.5 hours to locate the criminal. Police Captain Mike Woolman said the concern was short-lived, but recovery was a major priority to the force.
The area was a real concern for us because the Star City Shore is a swimming pool that's located directly next to 27th and Highway 2 with a lot of kids that were frequenting that during the day here. So that was a big concern of ours. So we called in the State Patrol helicopter, our own canines, State Patrol canines, and searched the area for 2.5 hours and located the individual. We did not want to clear the area of fear that he would get out and maybe harm some of the kids in the neighborhood.
The Lancaster County Health Department is sending a letter to a Lincoln landlord ordering that he get rid of a possible infestation of brown recluse spiders. A family living at this apartment complex says the spiders were so bad they were forced to move out. They claim that even after their area was sprayed and traps put up.
Thanks, guys. Well, the Nebraska Health Department aren't the only ones concerned with living conditions. Tenants are as well. I talked to a couple today to talk about the venomous spider that they were affected by called brown recluse. It didn't take long for Letty Tinley and her boyfriend to realize that something was wrong with their new apartment a year ago.
I don't hate spiders, but I'm very cautious about them now because of the brown recluse situation I was in.
Just 1 week after moving into the new apartment off of 26th and O Street, Tinley and her boyfriend discovered more than 50 brown recluse spiders crawling in and around their new apartment floor.
I was like, we have a bug problem.
The small brown creatures, also known as violin spiders, are found mostly in small cracks. UNO diagnostician James A. Kalish said the discovery was no surprise considering where the couple was living.
They're more associated with apartment complexes, townhouses, where there's a lot of mobility of goods and furniture, people moving back and forth.
A bite from the brown recluse kills the skin and creates an open wound. Tinley took no chances with her 1-year-old daughter around.
When they told me that, I started crying and stuff, and I was freaking out, and we moved within 24 hours after her telling us that.
And Tinley's apartment wasn't the only place brown recluse spiders were found. Just 1 month ago, in Lincoln, California, there's several apartments. Kalish says residents should contact the landlord when they come across the venomous spider.
In most cases, I would hope that those who live in apartments would see what their landlord can do to exterminate them, or at least cut their numbers down so that brown recluse is very rarely seen.
And if that doesn't work, the entomologist says to use material like glue board, Trapper Max, and Mr. Sticky to kill the brown recluse spider. Now, Kalish added that if you're looking to find the sticky material to prevent these brown recluse spiders from crawling back, you can find them at Lowe's, Home Depot, and Ace Hardwood. Reporting live on location for Star City News, I'm Nadu Izu. Megan, Torrin, back to you guys.
The health department says there are city codes in regards to infestation and they plan to enforce them. More information on the rollover crash that happened near 17th and Garfield Streets on Tuesday night. Police say 33-year-old Amanda Henson has been taken into custody and cited for child abuse, DUI, willful reckless driving, and using intoxicating compound. The Lincoln mother had her 7-month-old in the car with her, but the baby is expected to be okay. Police say she had been huffing from a can of compressed air.
Well, off-the-field problems continue for the New England Patriots, and this time it involves a former Husker.
Star City's Cassie Nelson has more.
New England Patriots defensive back Alfonso Denard is no stranger to trouble. And Thursday morning, the 23-year-old former Husker found himself face-to-face with the law again.
Denard was driving westbound on this street, Normal Boulevard, when he was pulled over. Officers say he was straddling 2 lanes.
After being stopped, police conducted tests that could have looked much like this. before transporting Denard to Cornhusker Place for a formal breath test. He was arrested for DUI, refusing a chemical test and straddling lane lines. But this won't be Denard's first trip to court. 3 months ago, he was sentenced to 30 days in jail and 24 months probation for assault on an officer and resisting arrest. So what could this mean for Denard's future?
More likely on the felony if his probation gets revoked as opposed to on the DUI. Then there is the question of could he serve those sentences concurrently, and that's possible.
Attorney Matt Arney says no one can be sure where things will go from here until his court date on August 13th.
Of course, right now it's important to understand he's only accused of violating the law. He is technically innocent right now. He is innocent until proven guilty.
Next, live at 5 on Star City News, how to avoid heat exhaustion.
An update on crime around Lincoln.
And a parasite is making more than 30 people sick. All that and more live at 5
on Star City News. Cassie, with all this warm weather, there seems to be an abundance of crime in Lincoln.
Yeah, city officials say that there's a correlation between the rise in temperature and the rise in crime rates. Star City's Brian Fry has more in the newsroom.
Well, it's been a busy 24 hours for Lincoln police, starting with an update on the robbery of an escort. Police have arrested 21-year-old Dylan Malin for the robbery of a Lincoln escort that happened last month. Officials say Malin called the escort near 15th and Washington to set up a massage. When she arrived, police believe Malin led her to the back of a building, and that's when they say he pointed a gun at her, punched her in the face, and took off with her purse. When officers subpoenaed the phone number used to call the escort, they identified Malin as the owner. Malin has been arrested for robbery and use of a weapon to commit a felony. A trip to the grocery store ended in chaos for an elderly woman last night. 71-year-old woman left Russ's Market at 66th and O Street with an unwelcome passenger in the back seat.
As she drove away, she heard rustling in the back seat, and then a man who'd been hiding held a gun to her head and demanded her belongings.
Police say the man tried to get the woman to drive him to the mall, but changed his mind and had her drive him to 53rd and Layton. That's when the man exited the vehicle with the woman's purse and a bag of groceries. Officials say the woman's car has been processed for fingerprint and DNA evidence, but there are no suspects yet. Police are looking for the driver involved in a hit-and-run accident. Early this morning, police say 2 cars collided near the intersection of 32nd and Sequoia. No one was injured, but one of the drivers took off before police arrived. The driver did, however, leave the car at the scene, giving officers a lead on the driver's name and address. Reporting live in the newsroom for Star City News, I'm Brian Fry. Back to you guys. A 17-year-old girl was shot inside a car. The incident happened Wednesday afternoon in the driveway of an apartment building a few blocks south of Salt Creek Roadway. Police say the girl was sitting in the passenger seat of a car when it happened, and her injuries are believed to be non-life-threatening. Officer Katie Flood says the gunshots came from a man sitting in the back seat who knew the victim and fled the scene. He has not yet been located.
We have not eliminated the possibility that this was an accident. However, we really do need to speak with that man to basically put together the events that led to that 911 call.